A quiet hum filled the maintenance bay of the human research outpost on Lyran 5. The outpost was small, built with simple metal walls, humming generators, and harsh lights that flickered whenever the power cells ran low. Most humans at the base were scientists or soldiers, focused on their mission and too busy to notice the little things around them. But one human always noticed the little things. His name was Aaron, the maintenance tech who took care of the machines no one else bothered with. Aaron crouched beside a panel, adjusting a line of loose wiring with steady hands. His face was calm, even when sparks jumped out at him. He was used to working alone, used to hearing only the hum of machinery and maybe a distant footstep from someone passing by. But today, he felt watched, like someone was waiting for him to turn around. When he finally did turn, he found a pair of soft violet eyes staring at him from the shadows near the doorway. The eyes blinked slowly, shyly. Then, a small alien girl stepped out into the light. She was a Lyran, one of the native species of the planet. Her skin was a pale shade of blue, smooth like polished stone. Her hair, long and soft, fell over her shoulders in gentle strands. Her ears curved slightly backward, and her tail, thin and flexible, moved softly behind her, showing her nervousness. She looked young. Not a child. Not fully grown. But somewhere in between. Like a teenager, in her species terms. She wore a simple woven cloth garment, nothing fancy. And she carried herself like someone trying very hard not to disturb anything. Aaron straightened up. It wasn't unusual for Lyrans to appear near the outpost, but they usually kept distance from humans. This one stepped closer, instead of backing away. Hello, Aaron said in a gentle voice. The alien girl lowered her head quickly, her hands curled close to her chest. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft and careful, like she had practiced the words many times before. I can serve. I can listen. I can be with you. If you want. Aaron froze. His tools shook in his hands. He wasn't sure he heard her right. What do you mean? He asked slowly. She lifted her head, her violet eyes wide and sincere. Humans helped my village last season. The sickness came, and your people gave medicine. My mother told me to repay kindness. I came here to find a human I can follow, one I can stay with, one I can learn from. Her tail curled slightly. I choose you. Aaron blinked. He did not know what to say. He had met Lyrans before. They were peaceful people, respectful, curious, and deeply loyal when they trusted someone. But he never expected one of them to choose him for anything. You don't have to do that, he said finally. I didn't help your village. I was never even there. But you are human, she replied simply. And you look gentle. You do not shout. That is enough. He almost dropped his wrench. He looked at her again, trying to understand this strange moment. She wasn't joking. Lyrans didn't joke like that. She was serious. She continued in a small voice. If you allow me, I can help you. I can carry things. I can clean. I can learn your tools. And I can keep you company. Her ears lowered shyly. I like your voice. I heard it before. You speak with calmness. Aaron rubbed his forehead, thinking. This was not the kind of situation they trained humans for. He was usually alone, quiet, happy with machines. And now, an alien girl wanted to be by his side. What's your name? He asked softly. Leary, she said with a small smile forming on her lips. It means gentle listener in my people's tongue. That fits, Aaron murmured, almost to himself. Leary took one hesitant step closer. Can I stay? Only near you. Only if you want. He could feel her hope in her voice. She wasn't forcing anything. She wasn't demanding anything. She was offering herself in the only way she knew companionship. Help. Loyalty. Presence. Nothing harmful. Nothing wrong. He sighed lightly and nodded. You can stay. But you don't have to serve me. Her eyes brightened instantly. Her tail made a small, happy wave. I want to. I choose. I promise I will not disturb your work. Aaron smiled a little. Okay. You can sit over there. But be careful with the wires. Leary obeyed at once. She sat on the floor, legs folded neatly, her hands resting on her knees. She watched him work with full attention, her head tilting whenever he used a tool she had never seen. Her presence was quiet, warm, almost soothing. For someone so small and timid, she made the cold maintenance bay feel less empty. After a few minutes, she spoke again in a soft tone. Aaron, may I ask something? Sure, he replied, keeping his focus on the wires. Do humans feel lonely? His hand paused. He didn't look at her yet. Sometimes. Do you feel lonely? She asked carefully. Aaron finally turned his head toward her. Her violet eyes were wide with worry. She spoke again, her voice barely above a whisper. If you feel lonely, I can stay more. I can listen. I can sit close. I can learn your feelings. Aaron felt something warm in his chest. No one had asked him that before. Not even the other humans at the base cared enough to ask. But this alien girl, who barely knew him, cared. Why do you want to help me? He asked. Leary looked down at her hands. Because your people helped mine. Because our healer said humans have kind hearts. Because I saw you working alone many times, and your shoulders looked heavy. Because when you speak to machines, your voice sounds like someone who needs someone to hear him. Aaron swallowed. Her words struck deeper than he expected. Leary, he said softly, you don't have to worry about me. I want to, she insisted gently. Not because I must, but because I feel safe near you. He felt himself blush a little. It was strange, hearing such honest words from someone so alien, yet so sincere. The door to the bay suddenly opened. A soldier stepped in, raising an eyebrow when he saw the small Lyran girl sitting so neatly near Aaron's tools. Aaron scratched the back of his head. Yeah, she, chose to stay with me. The soldier chuckled. Lucky guy. Those little Lyrans are loyal. If one picks you, she'll follow you everywhere. Leary looked anxious at hearing that, as though she feared Aaron might deny her. But Aaron simply nodded. The soldier shrugged and left. Leary relaxed, her shoulders softening. Aaron, she whispered. Thank you. You didn't do anything wrong, he replied gently. She smiled a small, bright smile that made her eyes glow softly. As the hours passed, Leary helped him in small ways. She held his tools carefully. She fetched small parts from the shelves. She asked questions in a gentle voice, never interrupting. She worked quietly beside him, learning quickly, moving with grace. Aaron found himself talking more than usual. He explained how machines worked, how the generators powered the outpost, how cooling cells kept things from overheating. She listened to every word, eyes focused, tail swaying softly. At one point, she leaned a little closer to watch him tighten a screw. She whispered, Your hands. They move with kindness. Aaron felt heat rise in his face again. I don't know about that, he muttered. I know, she replied simply. I can feel it. When the shift ended, Aaron packed up his tools and looked at her. Do you need to go back to your village? She shook her head. No. I told my mother I will find a human to help. She said I may stay as long as I wish. For Con. So you really want to stay with me? He asked quietly. She nodded again. I can serve. I can listen. I can be with you. If you accept me. Aaron looked around the lonely maintenance bay. He thought about the quiet nights, the empty rooms, the long hours, talking only to machines. Then he looked at Leary, small, hopeful, gentle, waiting for his answer. "You can stay," he said softly. "I won't stop you." Leary's smile returned, bright and warm. She stepped closer and placed her hand gently over his. Her touch was light, respectful, not crossing any line. Then, "I promise," she whispered. "I will stay by your side. I will stay by your side." The outpost suddenly didn't feel so empty anymore. The night outside deepened. But inside the maintenance bay, something new had begun, a strange bond between a quiet human and a gentle alien girl who simply wanted to be near him, and neither of them knew how deeply this promise would change both their lives. Leary woke before the sun even rose. The Lyran girl stood at the corner of the maintenance bay where she had settled last night, keeping herself small and quiet. Her violet eyes blinked softly as she watched Aaron enter the room, rubbing sleep from his eyes and carrying a mug of warm, nutrient drink. He looked surprised to see her already awake. "You didn't sleep much, did you?" he asked gently. "I slept enough," Leary answered with a small smile. "My people do not need long sleep like humans. And I wished to be ready when you arrived." Aaron took a sip from his mug and glanced around the bay. For the first time in months, he didn't feel that heavy silence that usually followed him. Leary's presence filled the room with a sort of quiet warmth. "You really stayed here all night?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "I wanted to stay close. I promised I would be with you." He didn't know how to respond. There was something calming about her honesty. She wasn't trying to impress him. She simply spoke her truth. "All right," he said, clearing his throat. "Let's get started. We have a lot of repairs today." Leary nodded. She followed him like a gentle shadow, her footsteps soft, her tail curling in little motions as she tried to memorize each tool on the bench. Aaron began his work with the power conduits near the wall. They needed realignment, and the panels were old. Leary watched, sitting cross-legged beside him, with full attention. "Why do humans surround themselves with metal?" she asked suddenly, touching the panel lightly. "It feels cold." Aaron shrugged. "I guess it's because metal lasts longer than most things. And it protects us. Does it protect your hearts too?" she asked quietly. He looked at her, unsure how to answer. "Maybe. Sometimes." She tilted her head as if trying to understand something beyond the machine in front of them. "My people say hearts do not need walls. They need company." Aaron paused. Her words stayed with him. He had always lived behind walls, both real and emotional, but hearing her say that made him think of the last few years, the loneliness he didn't talk about. Before he could reply, the radio crackled. "Maintenance tech, Aaron. Report to Corridor 7. A coolant pipe ruptured." Aaron sighed. "Looks like we have work." Leary stood immediately. "I come too." "You don't have to." "I promised," she said softly. "I stay with you." Aaron nodded. He didn't want to force her away anyway. They walked together through the narrow hallways of the outpost. Humans passed them. Some confused. Some amused. Seeing a small alien girl walking so closely behind Aaron, Leary ignored them, her focus fixed only on him. Whenever the walkway vibrated from heavy machinery, she moved slightly closer, as if expecting danger. At Corridor 7, steam hissed from a burst pipe. The air was cold and sharp from the leaking coolant gas. Aaron covered his nose with a cloth, but Leary didn't seem bothered. Her species adapted well to extreme temperatures. "Careful," Aaron warned. "The pressure is still unstable." Leary crouched beside him, watching every move he made. When he reached into the pipe, she gently held the flashlight, angling it perfectly without him asking. She was learning his needs fast. "You're really good at this," Aaron said. Her tail curled with happiness. "I want to be useful. I want you to depend on me." He tightened the valve, wiped the metal, then looked back at her. It's okay if you're not perfect at everything. You don't have to push yourself. She shook her head. I wish to try. If I fail, I try again. He couldn't help smiling. Her determination felt pure, almost childlike. But her loyalty was real, deeper than he expected. When the repair was done, Aaron leaned back with a sigh. All fixed. Leary's eyes brightened. I helped. Did I help well? Yes, Aaron said gently. You did great. Her expression softened. She didn't smile widely like humans did, but her eyes shimmered with joy. As they walked back, she suddenly stopped. She looked uncertain, twisting her fingers together. Aaron noticed immediately. What's wrong? May I ask something? She murmured. Of course. She lifted her face slowly. When the soldier spoke yesterday, he joked that I will follow you everywhere. Was he troubled? Did I make things hard for you? Aaron shook his head. No. He wasn't troubled. He was just teasing. Leary blinked. Teasing? It means he was joking, making fun in a friendly way. So, humans do not dislike me being here? Well, most humans don't mind Lyrans. You're peaceful. You help. And you're polite. Her shoulders relaxed. I am glad. They reached the maintenance bay again. Aaron returned to checking machines, while Leary moved around, cleaning tools, wiping surfaces, arranging things the way he liked them. She paid attention to everything about him, how he organized items, how he preferred silence while working, how he exhaled slowly whenever he concentrated. At one point she touched a metal plate lightly and whispered, Your scent is here. Aaron coughed. My people smell emotions. When humans work hard, their scent changes. This room has the scent of your patience and your tiredness. Aaron raised an eyebrow. That's interesting. It is warm, Leary whispered, touching her chest. It makes me calm. He tried not to blush. She wasn't flirting. She was simply stating what she sensed. Still, her honesty made his heart beat a little faster. After some time, Aaron sat down against the wall for a short break. Leary noticed and walked over, sitting just a little closer than before. Not touching him, but clearly wanting to be near. Aaron, she whispered. May I tell you something? Sure. When I first saw you, before choosing you, I watched you from far. You spoke to machines with gentle hands, not angry ones. You repaired a small drone and patted it when it worked again. You treated metal like it was alive. And I thought, if he treats cold things with kindness, how will he treat a living person? Hass. Aaron stared at her. He hadn't known anyone was watching him like that. He always assumed no one noticed him. You give comfort without knowing, she continued. I wanted to be near that. Aaron exhaled slowly. Leary, you don't need to place me so high. I'm just a maintenance guy. Leary, she shook her head. To me, you are someone important. Before he could answer, the alarms blared. A red light flashed across the outpost. Aaron stood immediately, grabbing his belt. Something's wrong, he said. We need to check the eastern generator. Leary followed him quickly. I come with you. They ran through the hallways. Humans rushed in different directions, trying to understand what caused the alarm. When they reached the generator room, they found a cracked stabilizer. If it broke completely, half the outpost could lose power. Aaron knelt beside the device. This is bad, he muttered. Leary hovered close. What do you need? I need someone small to fit behind the stabilizer. The space is too tight for me. I can, she said without hesitation. Aaron hesitated. The stabilizer carried high energy. If she touched the wrong place, she could get shocked. Leary, it's dangerous. I am careful, she said softly. Tell me what to do. He took a deep breath. Okay. Just listen very closely." She nodded, her ears standing alert. Aaron showed her a small tool. "See this clamp? You slide it onto the connector behind the stabilizer. But don't touch the panel itself. Only the connector." Leary repeated the instructions with perfect memory. Only the connector, not the panel. Aaron felt his heartbeat increase as she slipped into the narrow space behind the machine. He could barely see her now, only the motion of her tail. "Leary, are you okay back there?" "Yes," her voice whispered. "Tell me when." "Now." Slide the clamp gently. A moment passed. Another moment. Then, "It is done," Leary whispered. Aaron quickly checked the stabilizer. The energy readings stabilized. The cracks stopped spreading. "You did it," he said in relief. From behind the machine, Leary's soft laugh echoed. "I helped again." When she crawled back out, her face had dust on it, but her violet eyes glowed with pride. "You saved us," Aaron told her honestly. She blinked slowly. "I saved us. Because I stayed with you." He felt warmth bloom inside his chest. Without her, the outpost would have been in serious danger. Without her small size, patience, and loyalty, they would still be struggling with the damage. "You're amazing," Aaron said. Leary lowered her head shyly. "I am only keeping my promise." They walked back to the maintenance bay again, side by side. Aaron didn't speak for a long time. He was thinking about how gentle she was, how brave she had just been, how she watched him, learned from him, protected something he cared about. When they arrived, Leary sat down close to him again. Her voice was quiet, almost hesitant. "Aaron, can I ask one more thing?" "Of course. Do you want me to stay? Tomorrow? And the next day? And maybe many days after?" Aaron looked at her. Her eyes held hope, fear, and sincerity, all at once. "Yes," he said softly. "I want you to stay." Her breath trembled softly, like he had given her a gift she didn't expect. "Then I will stay," she whispered. "I will serve. I will listen. I will be with you. I will serve. I will be with you. I will serve. I will serve." Aaron nodded gently. For the first time in years, he didn't feel alone. For the first time in her life, she felt chosen too. And neither knew that something even deeper was beginning, a bond not of duty, but of growing trust and quiet affection, stronger than either of them could understand yet. The next morning began quietly, with soft sunlight spilling through the cracks of the outpost walls. Aaron walked into the maintenance bay, still half asleep, expecting the usual silence. But instead, he saw Leary sitting on the floor, arranging tools in neat rows. She looked up the moment she sensed him, her ears lifting and her eyes brightening. "You came," she said softly, as if relieved. Aaron smiled. "Of course I did. This is my job." "They won." Leary shook her head gently. "No. You came back to me." Leary shook her head. "After Shant." He paused. Her words were simple, but something warm stirred inside him. She wasn't being dramatic, she was simply telling the truth as she understood it. "Well, yes," he said quietly. "I came back." She moved closer to him, her steps light and almost floating. "Then, today, I help again. Today, I stay again." "You don't need to push yourself," he reminded her. "You already helped enough." "I wish to help more," she insisted. "Helping you makes me feel like I belong." Aaron swallowed. Something about the way she said that touched him more deeply than he expected. He picked up a wrench. "All right then. Let's get to work." Leary followed him like a gentle shadow. As always, they spent the morning repairing a drone's navigation system. The small drone hovered shakily while Aaron adjusted its circuits. Leary watched with focused eyes, memorizing every movement. Occasionally, she offered a tool before he even asked. Their rhythm had become natural, like they had been partners for years instead of days. At one point, the drone wobbled toward Leary, bumping lightly against her shoulder before stabilizing. Instead of being startled, she gently touched the machine with her small hand. "It is scared," she said softly. Aaron blinked. "Machines don't get scared, Leary." "Then why is it shaking?" she argued gently. He sighed with a smile. "Because it's old, not scared." Leary tilted her head, thinking. Old things also shake when frightened. He couldn't argue with that. She turned back to him, and there was something soft and almost protective in her eyes. "Humans shake too. You shake when you worry." Aaron stared at her. "Do I?" "Yes," she said with a small nod. "Your hands tremble when you think too much. But when I sit near you, they calm." That made his breath catch. "You notice that?" "I notice everything about you." Aaron felt heat rush to his face. He looked down at the tools, pretending to concentrate on tightening a screw. Leary's honesty was gentle, but powerful, like a quiet wind that moved more than he expected. Later that day, a sudden announcement echoed across the outpost. "All crew report to the common hall. A Lyran delegation has arrived." Aaron and Leary exchanged surprised looks. The Lyrans rarely visited in groups. Something important must have happened. Aaron walked toward the hall, and Leary stayed so close he could hear her breath. Her tail moved nervously. Inside the hall, 3 tall Lyran elders stood near the center. Their clothing was decorated with glowing threads, symbols of authority in their culture. Many humans stood around them, murmuring with curiosity. The moment Leary stepped inside, the elders noticed her. Their eyes widened. One of them stepped forward. "Leary, daughter of Rava?" Leary froze. "Elder Vesa?" Aaron looked between them, confused. The elder's voice grew firm. "You left your village without full permission. You chose a human on your own. You made a binding promise without counsel." Leary lowered her head, her ears folding back tightly. Her body trembled. I did not mean to cause trouble." Elder Vesa exhaled deeply, then looked at Aaron. "Human. Her choosing you is not a small thing. In our culture, when a young one chooses, it means deep trust, deep connection, a bond meant to grow. Mana, a bond, meant to grow." Aaron felt his chest tighten. He didn't know any of this. The elder continued. "We came because her mother worried. She said Leary felt drawn to someone beyond our home." He glanced at the small girl. "We feared she was being mistreated. 17 are liver. We feared 17 are liver." Leary shook her head quickly. No mistreatment. Aaron is kind. He is gentle. He lets me stay. He teaches me. He speaks with patience. He saved me from loneliness." Aaron blinked. "Saved you?" Leary turned to him, eyes shimmering. "Before I came here, I felt like I did not belong in my village. I was quiet. Too quiet. I listened too much. My thoughts were soft. I did not know where to place myself. But when I saw you, I felt a place." The hall fell silent. Humans stared. Lyran elders watched closely. Aaron felt his heart twist. He had no idea she carried so much inside her. He had only seen a gentle girl wanting to help, but she had found something deeper, something personal. Elder Vesa stepped closer to Aaron. "Human, do you reject her?" Aaron looked at Leary. She was trembling, her eyes begging him silently for a place. Just a place. Not ownership. Not command. Just acceptance. He took a deep breath. "No," he said softly. "I don't reject her." Leary's breath left her in a trembling sigh of relief. Aaron continued carefully. "She's been helping me. She's kind. She made things easier. I didn't force her to stay. She chose to. So, I accept her choice." The elder studied him for a long, silent moment. Then he nodded. Very well. Leary almost collapsed with relief, her tail curling tightly around her legs. Elder Vesa kneeled before her, speaking gently. Leary looked up, her eyes bright and steady. Yes, my heart feels calm here. I feel useful. I feel seen. Aaron's throat tightened. The elder rose. Then we will not take you back by force. Leary exhaled shakily and moved closer to Aaron without thinking. She stood near him, like she was afraid he would disappear. The elder continued addressing Aaron. Human. She is young but wise. She learns fast. She gives loyalty deeply. If you allow her to stay by your side, protect her, guide her, respect her. Aaron nodded. I will. The elders bowed slightly and left, leaving Leary standing close to Aaron in the quiet hall. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for not sending me away. He gently placed his hand on her shoulder. You didn't do anything wrong. You belong where you feel safe. Her eyes filled with emotion. She pressed her forehead lightly against his arm, not a gesture of romance, but of trust, of gratitude, of grounding herself. I stay, she whispered, as long as you want me. He felt something soften inside him. I want you here. She trembled again, not from fear but from relief that went straight into her bones. For the rest of the day, she remained even closer to him, following him through hallways, sitting beside him while he worked, gently touching tools before handing them to him. Her movements were softer, more careful, as if she was afraid to lose her place beside him. When evening came, Aaron sat on a crate, exhausted from the long day. Leary sat beside him, her body angled slightly toward him. The lights dimmed, leaving only a faint glow in the bay. Aaron, she whispered, may I say something? Sure. I watched you many days before approaching you, and when you spoke to machines, when you sighed alone, when you looked tired, I felt something inside me. Something soft. Something that said, go to him. He listened, his chest tightening again. I did not come to serve you because I had to, she said. I came because I wanted to be near your heart. It is gentle, it is tired, and it needs someone to sit beside it. Aaron swallowed hard. Leary, you don't need to fix my heart. I do not want to fix it, she replied softly. I only want to keep it company. He looked at her, really looked at her. Her small frame, her bright eyes, her hopeful expression. She wasn't just a helper. She wasn't just a curious alien. She was someone who had chosen him with her entire being, without expectation or demand. Leary, he said quietly, I'm glad you stayed. She smiled softly, a rare expression for her species. I am glad you let me. I. She moved just a little closer, her shoulder brushing his arm. The contact was light, respectful, and warm. For a moment, Aaron didn't feel like a quiet maintenance tech hiding behind machines. For a moment, he felt seen, truly seen, by someone who understood loneliness in ways he never spoke about. Leary whispered again, voice trembling with quiet emotion. Tomorrow, and the next day, and all days after, I will be with you, if you want me. Aaron nodded slowly. I do. Her eyes brightened. Her tail curled softly. She leaned her head gently, carefully, against his arm. Not a demand. Not a claim. Just trust. Just presence. Just a quiet promise between a lonely human and a gentle alien girl who had finally found her place. And in that quiet moment, Aaron understood something. She hadn't been the one who needed saving. He had.